Let's be real. Women don't truly appreciate your presence until they have to deal with your absence. You might think she likes having you around, but the real test of her feelings isn't when you're right in front of her. It's when you're not. And that's exactly what we're breaking down today. Welcome back to Man of Substance, the channel where we teach men how to navigate relationships with clarity, confidence, and control. Today, we're diving into what a woman actually feels when you're not around. Trust me, it's not as simple as her just missing you. Her emotions shift, her mindset changes, and depending on who you are as a man, she either starts craving you more or slowly replaces you in her mind. See, modern dating has conditioned men to believe that constant attention is necessary to keep a woman interested. But that's a lie. In reality, the space you create by stepping away, whether intentionally or not, determines whether she respects you or sees you as just another disposable option. Here's the truth. When you're absent, a woman goes through a mental and emotional process that reveals everything you need to know about her true level of interest. Some women will feel a deep sense of longing, others will feel uncertainty, and some won't feel much at all, which is also a message in itself. But most men never realize this because they're too busy chasing, over-explaining, or trying to fix something that isn't even broken. So today, we're going to break it all down. I'll walk you through the 7 key things a woman feels when you're absent, how to recognize them, how to use them to your advantage, and most importantly, how to maintain control in your relationships. Before we dive in, I've created a community on Pod, where I break down everything you need to know, step by step. You'll get no-nonsense, practical advice that will boost your confidence and help you build stronger, more meaningful connections. And the best part? The first 20 people who join will get an exclusive discount, so don't hesitate. Click the link in the description to grab your spot. And if you know someone who could use this, share it with them. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. Number 1. When she questions your value. When you step back, a woman is forced to confront a simple but uncomfortable question. Was he actually worth my time? Women don't just miss a man because he's absent. They miss him when his presence added something valuable to their life. If you were just another guy, texting her non-stop, validating her every move, or making yourself overly available, your absence won't make any real emotional impact. But if you were a man who brought leadership, excitement, and a sense of security, the moment you're gone, she starts feeling that gap. At first, she might not even realize it. She'll carry on like nothing happened, still enjoying the attention from other guys, still busy with her life. But as time passes, something shifts. She starts questioning why she even liked you in the first place. Was it his confidence? His ambition? The way he made her feel? These thoughts creep in, and suddenly, she's analyzing your value in a way she never did before. Here's where things get interesting. If you were a man who always stood his ground, maintained your standards, and made her earn your attention, she'll start to feel your absence like a void. She'll realize that other men aren't measuring up. That excitement, that presence, that masculine energy, it's missing. And once a woman feels that loss, she starts craving it. But on the flip side, if you were too available, too eager, or too focused on keeping her happy, she won't feel much at all. She may even feel relieved, confirming that you weren't as valuable as she once thought. Take a common situation. A guy dates a woman for a few months, always putting in effort, always making time for her. She enjoys it, but never fully appreciates it. One day, he pulls back. Less texting, less availability, more focus on his own life. At first, she doesn't care. Then a week goes by, then two. She sees him out handling his business, looking unbothered. Suddenly, she's the one questioning her position in his life. That's when his value skyrockets. This is why absence is powerful. It forces a woman to see you clearly, as a man she truly values or one she can easily forget. A high-value man understands this. He doesn't beg for attention, he doesn't chase. He lets his presence be a privilege, not an expectation. And when a woman starts questioning your value, that's when she realizes she may have lost something she can't easily replace. That's the difference between a man she forgets and a man she respects. Number 2, her ego takes a hit. A woman may act like she doesn't care when you pull away, but make no mistake, her ego feels it. Women are used to being chased. They're accustomed to men constantly trying to impress them, win them over, or at least check in to see how they're doing. So, when you go silent, when you stop feeding that attention loop, she starts feeling it, not in her heart just yet, but in her ego. At first, she might brush it off. Oh, he must be busy, he'll text me soon. But then hours turn into days, and days into a week. That's when the confusion kicks in. Why isn't he reaching out? See, in today's dating world, most men operate out of fear. Fear of losing her, fear of being forgotten, fear of her finding someone else. That's why they keep checking in, liking her posts, or sending those pointless, "Hey, how's your day?" texts just to stay relevant. But a man who understands his value doesn't do that. He knows his attention is a reward, and when he removes it, a woman feels it. Suddenly, she's not the one in control anymore. Now here's the key. When a woman's ego takes a hit, she won't always show it. Instead of reaching out directly, she might start posting more on social media, dressing up a little extra, or suddenly engaging with guys she previously ignored. But don't be fooled. This isn't about them. It's about you. She wants to see if you'll notice, if you'll react, if she still has that grip on you. Take this scenario. A guy and a woman have been talking consistently. She enjoys the attention but isn't fully investing in him. One day, he stops texting first. At first, she shrugs it off. But after a few days, she starts subtly testing, viewing his stories, liking an old post, even mentioning his name in a group chat just to see if he responds. She doesn't miss him yet. She misses the validation. And when he doesn't bite, that's when the ego hit turns into real frustration. A man who can resist the urge to chase is a man who forces a woman to confront her own insecurity. And once she starts wondering why you're not acting like the rest, she's already playing your game, not hers. Number 3, the power shift women are used to being in control when it comes to dating. They know that most men will do anything to keep their attention. Text first, double text if ignored, and constantly try to impress them. That's the dynamic most guys accept without even realizing it. But the moment you step back, that power dynamic starts to shift. At first, she doesn't think much of it. She assumes you'll be back, that you're just playing hard to get. But then, time passes and nothing happens. That's when she starts feeling something she's not used to: uncertainty. Let's be honest, women don't like uncertainty when they believe they had control. In most cases, a woman walks into a situation knowing she has options. She assumes she can replace you easily. But when you remove yourself without explanation, without begging, without trying to check in, you're forcing her to acknowledge something uncomfortable. Maybe I wasn't as important to him as I thought. This realization doesn't sit well with her. It makes her question the entire situation. Was she the one being pursued, or was she actually the one chasing? And here's where it gets interesting. The more she feels that loss of control, the more her mind starts obsessing over it. Let's be real. Women are not used to being the ones left wondering. They're used to being pursued, to having options, to feeling like they are in control of the emotional pacing. But when a man flips the script and chooses not to engage, he disrupts the entire game. Suddenly, she's the one checking her phone. She's the one feeling frustrated. She's the one asking herself, why isn't he acting like the rest? The more she thinks about it, the more her emotions get involved. This is why self-control is so powerful. When you refuse to act desperate, when you refuse to feed into the cycle of validation-seeking behavior, you position yourself as a man who chooses where his attention goes. And that's what makes a woman rethink everything. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't about always being present. It's about knowing when to step back and let her feel the shift in power. Once she does, she'll either come back on your terms or she'll reveal that she never valued you in the first place. Either way, you win. Number 4, her attraction intensifies. When you step back, a woman doesn't just forget about you. Her attraction starts to grow, not because she's suddenly in love, but because distance plays tricks on the mind. It makes people crave what they don't have easy access to. And that's exactly what happens when you're no longer constantly available. See, women are not drawn to men who smother them with attention. They're drawn to emotionally engaging experiences, and one of the most powerful emotions that fuel attraction is certainty. It's that feeling of not being fully in control, of not knowing exactly where she stands with you. That's what makes things exciting. When you were always there, replying instantly, liking all her pictures, and giving her non-stop validation, there was no mystery. She knew she had your attention, and because of that, she didn't need to chase it. But when you pull back, when she suddenly realizes that she's not the center of your world, that's when something shifts inside her. At first, she won't even notice. She'll go about her day as usual, assuming you'll eventually reach out. But then time passes. She picks up her phone, expecting a message that isn't there. She sees you online, but gets no text from you. Suddenly, she finds herself thinking about you more than she expected. And here's the thing. This isn't even about you. It's about her reaction to the space you've created. Human nature is simple. When something is too available, we take it for granted. But when something becomes scarce, we start to value it more. That's exactly what happens when you stop making yourself too easy to reach. She may not act on it immediately. In fact, she might even try to convince herself that she doesn't care. But internally, the shift has already happened. The man she assumed would always be there is no longer giving her that sense of security. That insecurity, that small fear of losing you, fuels her attraction more than anything else. This is why men who understand attraction never overgive. They know that a woman's feelings are tied to emotional highs and lows, not just consistency. A woman doesn't stay attracted to a man because he's nice or always there for her. She stays attracted because he makes her feel something real, something that lingers even when he's not around. And the moment she starts feeling that pull, she's already more invested than she ever planned to be. Number 5, she tests you. When your absence starts to affect a woman, she won't just sit back and let things happen. She will test you. These tests aren't always intentional. but they're her way of figuring out if she still has control over your attention. At first, she might try something small, liking an old post, viewing your stories, or casually bringing you up in conversation with mutual friends. These subtle moves are designed to get your attention without her seeming like she's chasing. If she doesn't get the reaction she wants, she'll step it up. Suddenly, you might get a random text, something simple like, "Hey, hope you're doing well." But don't be fooled. It's not just a check-in. It's a test. She wants to see how eager you are to respond. If you reply instantly with excitement or start putting in effort again, she'll know she still has you. But if you respond casually or not at all, she starts questioning everything. The more unbothered you are, the more intense her testing can become. She might start showing up, where you'll be, posting indirectly about you, or flirting with other men to see if it gets a reaction. This is where many men fail. They take these tests as a sign she wants them back, so they eagerly respond, jump into conversations, or fall right back into the old patterns that made her take them for granted in the first place. But a man who understands the game doesn't fall for it. He recognizes that these tests aren't about rekindling a connection. They're about regaining control. He doesn't ignore her completely, but he also doesn't give her the reassurance she's looking for. He keeps his responses short, doesn't initiate, and continues living his life. That's when the real shift happens. She realizes the dynamic has changed. She no longer holds the same control she once did, and that alone makes her rethink everything. If she truly values you, she'll have no choice but to put in actual effort. If not, she was never really that interested. Number 6, she considers other options. Let's be brutally honest. If your absence doesn't make her feel anything, she will quickly start looking elsewhere. This is where many men get blindsided. They assume that just because they once had her attention, she'll sit around waiting. But the harsh reality is women always have options. The moment she feels your absence, one of two things will happen. Either she realizes your value and starts craving your presence, or she decides you weren't as significant as she thought and shifts her focus elsewhere. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. If she replaces you quickly, you were never a priority. This is where you need to wake up. Too many men waste time wondering, is she thinking about me? Is she missing me? Instead of focusing on the bigger picture, if she moves on effortlessly, she never saw you as irreplaceable. And if that's the case, why would you want her back? Here's where men mess up. They panic the moment they realize she's entertaining other options. They go into desperation mode, texting, checking in, or trying to prove they're the better choice. The second you do this, you've already lost. A woman doesn't respect a man who begs for her attention. She respects a man whose absence is felt because his presence was valuable in the first place. This is why it's crucial to understand your worth. If she's so quick to look for attention elsewhere, that's a reflection of her, not you. A high-value man doesn't chase validation. He doesn't sit around wondering if she's comparing him to someone else. He knows he's the prize. Instead of obsessing over whether she's considering other options, ask yourself, are you the kind of man who even cares? If you're focused on your purpose, your growth, and your goals, you wouldn't lose sleep over a woman who might not even be worth your time. Women respect men who don't beg, don't chase, and don't compete for attention. If she truly values you, she'll recognize what she lost. If she doesn't, she was never yours to begin with. Let that sink in. Number 7, she either submits or moves on. This is the final stage, and it's where everything becomes clear. After all the emotions, the tests, the doubts, and the shifts in power, a woman will do one of two things. She'll either fully submit to your value, or she'll move on completely. There is no in-between. If your absence made her realize your worth, she will come back differently. She won't just reach out casually or try to play games anymore. She will approach you with a newfound respect because she understands you're not a man who can be taken for granted. This is when she stops testing and starts investing. She'll be more feminine, more cooperative, and more willing to meet you halfway because she understands that you're not just another option. You're the prize. But here's where most men fail. They don't recognize this moment. Instead of maintaining their frame and letting her come back in a respectful way, they get excited. They instantly go back to the way things were, thinking they've won. But the moment they do this, they undo all the power they just built. The key here is to let her prove herself. If she comes back, she needs to earn her place again. If she's truly realized your value, she won't hesitate to do this. What if she moves on? What if your absence didn't bring her back? Then you just dodged a bullet. If a woman can detach from you without hesitation, if she can move on to another man without a second thought, she was never truly invested in the first place. Her leaving isn't your loss, it's hers. A woman who moves on easily was never going to stay long-term anyway. She was just waiting for the next best option. And let's be real. Do you really want to fight for a woman who would replace you at the first sign of distance? Do you really want to chase someone who only valued you when it was convenient? If your absence didn't make her miss you, then your presence never meant that much to her in the first place. A high-value man doesn't beg for a place in a woman's life. He lets her choose. And if she doesn't choose him, he walks away without hesitation. Emotional control separates the strong men from the weak. The men who win at this game are the ones who never let a woman's decision dictate their value. She comes back? Good. She leaves? Even better. Because a man who truly understands his worth doesn't fear losing anyone. He knows the right people will recognize his value without him having to prove it. Bottom line, when you pull away and she either submits or moves on, you don't lose, you get clarity. You see her for who she really is. A woman who respects you will make the effort to keep you in her life. A woman who doesn't, she was never yours to begin with. A man who values himself knows he never has to beg to be chosen. At the end of the day, your absence is the ultimate test. It strips away the distractions, the fake validation, and the power plays, leaving only the truth. A woman's reaction to your absence tells you everything you need to know about her investment, her respect for you, and whether she truly values what you bring to the table. Here's the controversial truth that most men don't want to hear. A woman who can replace you easily was never yours in the first place. Drop a comment below and tell me about a time when a woman's reaction to your absence revealed her true intentions. Did she come back with respect, or did she show you that she never really cared? I'll be reading through them and reaching out to some of you. Stay strong, stay focused, and protect your power. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.